Hello! Today I decided that I need to tell you all about my Tintin comic collection because I've actually been wanting to make this video for a really long time, since like the beginning of the school year, which is like September or something, because in school we have to make these culture diaries, which you might already be aware of if you've been watching my videos. And I've been making them in videos because I have a very hard time putting my thoughts about something on paper. I need to yap. And I was thinking this year that I could just show all of my Tintin comics. It didn't work out. I didn't have to make a culture diary this year. We had to do something else, and so that idea kind of fell off. However, I still want to make the video because I just think it's really fun. And also, something really exciting has come in the mail, which I will be opening on camera, and oh, I'm really, really excited. But before we start with the comics, I wanted to show you this. This is a little notebook where I have decided that I'm going to compile all of my Tintin-related things. That is notes, that is papers, that is etc, etc. So on the first page here, you will find all the Tintin comics and the years they were published, plus a little box where I've ticked whether or not I have them. The years published, they're not when they started publishing, because they started as comic strips and later on they were published as full books or albums. And here is the first publishing of the comics as albums, which is a big distinction because a lot of them started publishing a year beforehand. So let's begin. Number one, we have this book, which is two of the comics put together. This is Tintin in the Land of the Soviets and Tintin in America, which is really interesting because this is the first comic, which is Tintin in the Land of the Soviets, and the third one, which is Tintin in America. This is because I will show you the cover from a different comic, because this one doesn't have all the comics on the back, which you will notice also here. It skips the second one, which is Tintin in the Congo, because RJ himself, which is the author, had decided that that comic was a grave mistake and it shouldn't be republished. So of course you can still get copies of it, but it, as far as I know, isn't being sold like through official channels. So that's why this one skips the second one and goes straight into the third one, which is really what's really interesting is that the first comic has a lot, the panels are a lot bigger than standard, as in they're, you know, if you'll notice later, here we have 3 panels, and also that leads to the comic taking up more space. Tintin in the Land of the Soviets in this book takes up a lot more space than Tintin in America. As you'll see, Tintin in America is this part, and this is the Land of the Soviets. Here you'll notice the panels are a lot smaller, the page is a lot more divided, and also it's in color, which is really interesting because, if I remember correctly, Tintin in the Land of the Soviets didn't get a colored version until like a lot later than all the other ones, because RJ had decided that, yeah, that comic was also a bit of a mistake. Please, how about we don't color that one, because that would like drum up more hype for it. It does have a colored version now. I'm not sure which year. I'm gonna put it on screen which year it got a colored version, but this one isn't, which is really cool and interesting. This edition was first published in 2015, so that's really neat. Okay, let's move on. We're gonna go in chronological order. So Tintin in the Land of the Soviets was published 1930, and Tintin in America was published 1932, which is really interesting. So that's like a historic relic. I actually gave this book to my history teacher to like have a look, and she said she liked it, so that's cool. The next ones would be these ones. this is also a part of the very exciting stuff. So the first of these comics is Vienna Genos Lapums, aka Secret of the Unicorn. And the next one after that is Red Rackham's Treasure, aka Sargana Rakam Baga Thebes. These are classics. These are actually the first, not these specific copies, but these comics were the first things I ever bought with a gift card. My first gift card went into buying these comics, and they're still such a classic. I feel like it makes sense that these two comics were the main inspiration behind the Steven Spielberg movie. It's just they're so good. They have both the so this one's good because this is a classic example of a mystery comic in the Tintin series. There's they can be divided into two subcategories, where it's the adventure and then there's the mystery. For example, these two are pretty explicitly adventure stories, while this one is pretty explicitly a mystery story. There isn't as much like action and tension, except at the end a little bit. However, there is a lot of mystery, there are a lot of questions to be answered, and that's really fun. While this one is more of an adventure, there isn't as much stuff going on because they're out in the middle of the sea, but it has more action elements. There isn't like any burning questions that need to be answered or anything of the sort. And it's also a lot more so geared towards comedy than the first one. Here you can see some panels. I feel like this one's a lot closer to the Castafiore Emerald, which is... Oh, I have a lot to say about that one actually. But I'm gonna try to keep it concise. So basically, you'll see in the back, I have a big book called Comics 1964 to 2024. And in that book, it very specifically focused on the Castafiore Emerald. And at first I was confused about why. And I always thought of the Castafiore Emerald as kind of, oh, RJ didn't know what to do with the series anymore, but he needed to put out a book, so he just did something, like a filler episode, if that makes sense. But after reading that book, I feel like the Castafiore Emerald has taken a lot more of a honorable spot in my mind. It's in the book it's described as something very different from the times. Instead of a exciting adventure or a tense mystery, it's characters just chilling around. Like, yes, there's the question of what happened to the Castafiore Emerald, where'd it go? But it's very chill in that sense. It's just kind of characters messing around, doing whatever. And I feel like this comic is also very similar to that in nature. There isn't a tense mystery to solve, there isn't any tense action scenes. I feel like in a spectrum with, let's say, like the most action-packed or mystery-packed comic at one end and the Castafiore Emerald at the other end, this one would be closer to the Castafiore Emerald, like maybe one like right after or something of the sort, which is, I feel like that's really cool. Also, I really recommend that book, Comics 1964 to 2024. It's really good, it's very interesting. So, Secret of the Unicorn was published 1943, and Red Rackham's Treasure was published 1944. So yeah, that's really cool. I feel like after The Shooting Star, these are the comics establishing Captain Haddock as a main character and introduce Professor Calculus, which is really, really cool. Now, okay, I feel like there's a big difference between these comics and the ones coming up. So, what I like to call RJ's magnum opus, the Moon series, which is Destination Moon and Explorers on the Moon. Thank you so much to my friend Remy for bringing these to me from France, if I remember correctly. You're just the best. You're the best. These comics, as I said, RJ's magnum opus. Just like, they are so different in scope that it's insane. I feel like these are the perfect adventure comics. But I feel like this one just stands out so much. Never mind. Both of these stand out so much compared to the other comics. I could write a whole research paper, not a research paper, but like an opinion piece about why these comics are so different. First off, the scope. They're going to the moon. Number two, it's a sci-fi adventure. It's science fiction. Unlike, sure, in this one, you have a calculus submarine, but submarines existed beforehand. This is just like a different design with a different application. However, here they're going to the moon. And that's just incredible. And also, another thing about this one is that, about these ones, is that the tension is unparalleled. Like, compared to the other comics, what makes these so much more tense and actually kind of scary at times is the fact that the characters are completely powerless. They're putting their full faith in the fact that the rocket will not just explode before liftoff, and that they're going to make it, and that everything's going to be alright. And like, and the fact that this comic ends on a kind of a cliffhanger. Like, yes, the rocket takes off, but we don't know if the characters survived it. And of course they did, but like, that's scary. I remember reading it at Yanni on a rock next to a pond, and like being like, oh my god, that's scary, because they're doing the countdown to the liftoff, and you're just sitting there thinking, oh my god, are they gonna be okay? But yes, and suddenly Tintin is powerless to save anyone, because suddenly you have to put your full faith in the fact that this thing won't explode, and you can't do anything to help that. You just need to sit there and wait and hope for the best, and that's just scary as hell. So yeah, and also it's just written so much different. It just stands out compared to the rest of the comics. It's crazy. So, Destination Moon was written in 1953, and Explorers on the Moon was written 1954, which is like almost 10 years before the actual Apollo 11 mission, which is so cool. I need a drink. Then we have, oh, this one's really interesting. Flight 714 to Sydney, in Dutch. I haven't read this one for obvious reasons. But this comic is really strange. I looked it up, and apparently this one didn't get that good reviews because of the plot. However, I find it silly. So this is one of the comics that I found in the wild. I was in the Netherlands, and I decided that I will just go out and I will just buy something, just like anything. And I walk into some bookstore and I see, oh my god, it's a Tintin comic in the wild. And I'm there like, I'm buying that. I don't know Flemish, but I'm buying this thing. And so I did. And I looked at the pictures, and actually 2 panels stood out to me so intensely that I decided, you know what? This is cool as hell. This is actually so, oh my god. Oh wait, I don't even have to. Wait, I have it printed. I have the panel printed. Like, look at that. Look at that. That is so cool. The art is actually incredible. Like, it's just something else. And like, this comic is very interesting. I have barely any idea what happens in this one. I watched the Nelvana series, and I did watch this episode, and I remember watching this episode and being like, what the fuck was this? But like, aliens exist in the Tintin universe for some reason. Yeah, so that's the thing, I guess. This book is very good with the art. The art is very good. The story is interesting. From the pictures, it doesn't look like much actually happens. However, you can see very distinctly the time when it was written, because here in the first panel you'll see a full-ass jet, like a jet airplane, and that is very impressive considering from where we've come, where hold on, let me find, from the time when this was the coolest car you could possibly get. So that's really cool. It's fun to see the times progress throughout the Tintin universe, even though the characters don't, like, grow older, but the technology does, and that's really cool. This comic was published in, oh, I haven't even marked it as owned, in 1968. Let me quickly mark that I actually have this one with me right now. And the last one for now is this one. The last one and the last one. Tintin and Alphard. Oh, this comic is so cool. If you don't know this comic was never finished. This was a draft that RJ started and never finished. He died before finishing it. And, like, that's just neat. It looks like this. You can see the panels and you can read the transcript. This is translated, of course, because hell if I can read French. Not anymore, but yeah, and it's just so cool to look at. You can see Hergé's process where he has more refined sketches, where he has the basic shapes down. For example, let me find a good one. Like here you can see like a first draft, and earlier on you can see a later draft. For example, this page where the figures are a lot more pronounced, not pronounced, but more more finished, which is really, really cool. And yeah, and this is the last one. Actually, I don't know if okay, the people watching this probably already know this, but I'm gonna tell you anyway because I just find that fact so cool. In 2023, I was in the Hergé Museum, and at the well, we're gonna be telling the story, but just let me finish this one. The exhibition ends with an LED light representation, not a representation, but LED lights strung to look like this image of Tintin being walked away with a gun, and like, yeah, that's the last thing you see, because that's the last Tintin in a draft that was ever made. And like, that's so perfect, isn't it? And also, in the first room of the exhibition, you can see the page. I have a picture of it, and like, I was looking at it and I was like, oh my god, it's the one! It's the one! Dude. Oh, that's just something else, isn't it? This comic was fully published, well, everything that there is, in 2004, even though Hergé died in 1987, I think, or... But what's really cool about this book specifically is that there's a section of, like, found pages where there's, like, other concepts and other notes Hergé made, which is really, really cool. They're called, in this book, they're called recovery pages. One of them is of Captain Haddock without a beard, which looks fully cursed. He looks like this for some reason. I'm not sure about that, but like, okay. Yeah, it's just, this is really, really something special. And now, let's move on to something else. Something a little bit more special. And now, let me tell you a little story. In the Hergé Museum, I went with my brother and my dad, and at the end there's this cylindrical room. This looks more like a orb, but a cylindrical room, floor to ceiling in Tintin comics, and in all different languages. And at one point my dad is like, hey, can you find the one in Latvian? He had found it already. Me and my brother were both looking, and I'm looking at all the ones that I know. The Secret of the Unicorn and Red Rackham's Treasure. I'm looking at all of them. None of them are in Latvian. And then I'm like, okay, where is it? Just tell us. It's the Blue Lotus in Latvian. I didn't know that existed. And I'm just like, dude, wait a second. There's another one. And then I'm like, wait guys, wait. That's a sequel to the Cigars of the Pharaoh. And then I'm like, technically, there should be 2 more Tintin comics in Latvian. And then I never looked at it again. No, I posted the picture of the Blue Lotus. I will put it on screen. And the Tintin podcast official account actually reposted it. I was really happy about that. And then, this year, I looked into it actually. I finally did. I had looked at the Blue Lotus in Latvian online. I found it. It was a real thing. And then I looked up the Cigars of the Pharaoh. Turns out that's also a real thing. And then I'm like, guys, I was right. I was fully correct. And also, the Cigars of the Pharaoh was in like a children's reading list in 2007 or 2008. I'm gonna also put a picture of that. But do you know? Now you should know what came in the mail. So excited. I got the message today. I was in San just walking around doing nothing, drinking an iced latte, and I get a message being like, oh, your local Omniva got your package. And guys, so here it is. Thank you so much to the lady who sold these to me, because you're a legend. Thank you. And also thank you to the lady from Zvaigznes Grāmatnīca telling me that they don't have it and that I should look into this website. And it worked out, and I have them, and I'm so excited. And we're gonna open it right now because we have to. And yeah, we'll see. Oh my god, this is so exciting. Guys! Oh, how do I open this? Oh shoot, oh my god. Wait, hold on. Just don't damage it, please. Oh my god, oh my god. Oh, these are huge compared to the other one. Ah, shoot. Oh my god. Dude. Oh my god, oh my god. Look at that. Look at that. Oh my god. There's a little damage. The lady showed me on the bottom. There's a little damage on the corners. But like, oh, there's a little bit of tape on here. Oh no. Oh, that's so cool. Oh, this is so cool. Wait, let me get the tape off. How'd this even happen? These are huge. Wait, these are like standard Tintin comic album sizing. Because like, wait a second. You'll notice here that these ones are tiny in comparison. Oh, these are so tiny in comparison. Look at that. That is a huge size difference. What the hell? Oh, that's so funny. Oh my god. Oh, this is so cool. This is so cool. See here, this was the one in the museum, And here's the Zwags Arbeit. The cover. Oh, you can see the reflection. Somebody was drawing on a paper on top of the comic. Oh, that's so cute. There's a little stick man. Wait, is there? There's just a couple scratches on it. That's so cute. I maybe like. Unlike other collectors, I don't actually mind stuff like this. I don't want everything mint condition. I love it when there's like signs that the thing has had a life beforehand. It's great. Oh my god, this is so cool. I'm like afraid to open these. Oh my god, my god. No Franč volod stolkovi sine se Peterson. Oh my god. Yo, look at that. And this is like the old Tintin art style too. I'm gonna put up pictures on screen, but the art style is different from the older ones. Like on the inside, the cover is like the newer art style. The inside is the older one. Oh, wait, this is curious. Wait, this is the newer art style. That's so interesting. Oh, wow, that's so cool. Like, this one has the newer art style, so this has been, like, reprinted, like, redrawn, while this one has the older one, where, you'll notice that, for example, here on the cover, you can see that Tintin has a bit of more of an, like, an oval face, while in the art style, he has more of a round face, like a rounded head. If I can show you, like on this picture, for example, you can see he has a rounder head. And Snowy is also drawn different. Not much, but slightly. And that's like, that's so cool. That's such a cool detail. Oh my god. So basically, whew, these comics are special because they introduce the villain Rastapopoulos, which appears in many Tintin books. He was actually, let's say, dealt with in the comic Flight 714 to Sydney by the aliens, just like Alan. Alan appears in the Crab with the Golden Claws. He is also in the movie. He's one of the main antagonists in the movie. And eventually him and Rastapopoulos start teaming up, and yeah, and in the comic Flight 714 to Sydney, they get abducted by aliens and never seen again. In this comic, he makes his first appearance, but this comic is historically very significant because this one was made with the help. Hergé made a Chinese friend. I'm gonna put him on screen. He actually inspired one of the characters in this book, who also later appears in Tintin in Tibet, Chang. And this one's really important because this one takes a stance against imperialist Japan, which caused Hergé to be like a bit of a celebrity in China, because historically, if I remember correctly, after World War II, Japan got basically a pardon, practically, from the American government. They made their changes, but basically they were allowed to effectively ignore all their let's just say bullshit that they committed from the 20th century onto World War II. And yeah, it was a big thing that Hergé was like, yeah, no, Japan were assholes. And with this book, he supported the Chinese over the Japanese, which is very big for the time. Oh, this is so cool. The spines are blue, which is really interesting because these comics, they have like different colored spines. Here, the Sarkana Rakam Bagati, this is orange yellow. Secret of the Unicorn is a green one. And also they're huge. Like, look at the size difference. That's like 50% smaller. That's insane. I didn't expect that. Oh, that is so cool. Also, I have read these two comics before, these two, but in English. I fully legally read them. I didn't. No scurvy over here, sir. But yes, I have read these before, and this one was actually really difficult to get through because of the amounts of racism, and not from like the good guys, but from the villains and the villainous characters. It was actually really rough to read. So I'm very curious of what that's gonna look like in Latvia. we'll add the, where's the highlighter here? We're going to add the Blue Lotus and not the Broken Ear, the Cigars of the Pharaoh. No, I marked the wrong thing. God damn it. Okay, we'll just take another highlighter, highlight over the top of the right ones because it's quite hard to see already. So now my collection consists of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 comics, and I have 14 left. And another thing I really want to show you is the difference between let's take Tintin and Alphard because this is a good example. I used it before in the video, where the backs of the comics are very different. So Tintin and Alphard looks like this. It has all the comics. It has like other stuff here, like about like other things to look at. There's some other works by Urge, other stuff. Oh, these are the same size, aren't they? Oh, they're practically the same size. They're basically the same size. These ones have this on the back where it's like a little illustration and a little blurb. I'm going to read this out loud. Zilais Lotus ir beļģu autora Žorža Remī komiks par žurnālista Tintiņa piedzīvojumiem plašajā pasaulē. Autors savus darbus publicē ar pseidonīmu Hergé, kas ir cēlies no viņa vārda un uzvārda pirmo burtu pārstatījuma. Hergé ar savu komiku sēriju kļūst pasaules slavens, un tas nemaz nav pārspīlēts teikts. 24 grāmatas par Tintiņu vēlāk nekā 70 gados ir tulkotas gandrīz 50 valodās. Pārdot ap 150 miljonu šo grāmatu eksemplāru. Tintiņa tēls rod arī beļģu 10 eiro monētu. Oh, I didn't know that. I'm gonna have to look into that. Žurnālists Tintiņš cīnās par taisnību Eiropā, tuvajos un tālajos austrumos, Amerikā un pat Antarktikā, un ar viņu vienmēr gadās kas elpu aizraujoši. Grāmatā Zilais Lotus drosmīgais Tintiņš cīnās pret ļauniem narkotiku tirgoņiem. Viņš dodas uz Ķīnu, lai atklātu bažas noslēpumus, atrastu nolaupīto profesoru un iegūtu jaunus draugus. Kopā ar Tintiņu vienmēr ceļo arī viņu suns mīļuks, lasi Hergé komiksu Faraona cigāri. I think this is kind of not true because he doesn't go to Antarctica. Hold on, I have another book to show you. Oh, no, my picture, it's falling. Sorry, Kerrigan. Oh, god damn it! We are fine. This book, a little book of travel. I got this one at the Urge Museum. Thank you, Dad. This one contains a map of all the adventures of Tintin. And if I remember correctly, Antarctica is here on the bottom. This is the North Pole. He doesn't go to Antarctica. He goes to, like, the shooting star takes place like up here. It's written here. So I feel like that's a bit of a factual error. Also, I'm gonna read the blurb. Grāmatā Faraona cigāri drosmīgais Tintiņš cīnās pret narkotika tirgoņiem Āzijā. Viņš ceļo gan pa tuksnesi, gan džungļiem, satiekas ar trakiem un ļoti gudriem cilvēkiem, nokļūst slepenā brālībā un sagūst noziedzniekus. Kopā ar Tintiņu vienmēr ceļo arī viņa suns mīļuks. Lasi Hergé komiksu Zilais Lotus. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I've been yapping about Tintin for 40 minutes. I am so excited to read these comics and so excited to see what the translation is like. And yeah, this was so cool. This is so cool. I am so happy. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, and I will see you again. Maybe I'm planning on making a video about all of my comics at one point. So stay tuned for if I do that. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.